Well, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, I'm very grateful for CCG and for UN Women to have this opportunity to join a very interesting and highly relevant event and to celebrate the International Women's Day together with all of you. It's been very inspiring to listen to previous speakers on actions taken to tackle these sustainable development challenges that gender inequality poses. And as many before me have said, it's clear that women's and girls' limited access to political, economic, and material resources has a negative impact on their ability to adapt to climate change, and that in turn increases their vulnerability. This applies particularly in relation to agriculture and food security, where women bear often the main responsibility. Women and girls, however, are also critical actors and agents for change in the work to counteract climate change. That's why Sweden was the driving force behind the inclusion of a gender perspective in the Paris Agreement and contributed to enabling women from all over the world to make their voices heard in connection with the negotiations. Within the major multilateral environmental and climate funds, Sweden has contributed to linking the climate and gender perspective. Gender equality is a human right and ultimately a question of democracy, representation, and social justice. That's why the Swedish government, as the first country in the world, rightly so you said, Smitri, launched a feminist foreign policy that was already in 2014. Since then, many countries have actually followed suit. The Swedish feminist foreign policy has been and continues to be an important tool to integrate gender equality and related issues into essentially all of our policy areas. Gender equality is not only a goal in itself, but also essential in achieving the government's foreign policy objectives of peace, security, and sustainable development. Thus, Sweden has stepped up efforts to integrate the environmental and climate perspective with the gender perspective in Swedish development cooperation. Many of our bilateral cooperation programs within environment and climate have gender clear equality perspectives or clear gender equality perspectives. It means, for instance, taking into account that women and men suffer different exposure to chemicals and pollutants. It means ensuring equal rights to environmental related information for all. It means promoting women's and girls' full enjoyment of human rights in climate and environment and in environment action linked to oceans, biodiversity, food security, water, sanitation, and hygiene. It's essential to improve gender equality in climate adaptation measures and, very importantly, strengthening indigenous peoples' positions within environmental issues to better utilize their knowledge and observations that are valuable in the global fight against climate change and biodiversity loss. Sweden will step up its efforts to prevent climate change and its effects on food security and environment, and to promote sustainable living conditions. The guiding principle of all Sweden's development cooperation is that it's socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable and gender equal. Lastly, I'd like to mention that in June this year, Sweden will, together with Kenya, host the high-level Stockholm +50 conference to commemorate the 1972 UN Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm. The aim of the conference is to help redefine our relationship to nature through concrete actions. To ensure success, a rights-based approach that includes women's and girls' perspectives as an integral part of the work and implementation is essential. You're all very welcome to join in person or digitally. Thank you for your attention. 谢谢。